Hey, back again. It is the last day of 2023. And since I've decided to start this new group, I thought let's do a wrap up post. In yesterday's video, I showed you the royalties that I made for this year, but it's only fair that I talk about or share with you all the expenses that go with it as well, because it certainly wasn't all profit. And I had a moment when I first looked up that figure yesterday, and I saw it and I was like really shocked, because I thought, where did it all go? It's like, why aren't I rolling in riches? Why don't I have the new car I wanted? Why don't we have a new house? Why don't we have all these things? So, because there are expenses. It wasn't all profit. A lot of travel during the year, stuff like that. But I'll get into that in a minute. So taking a step back, because I don't want this to be all like a braggy thing. I want it to be, I've started where you might be, or, we might have started at the same time or whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's just growth over the years. And my growth was really small to begin with. When I very first started, I published First Blade in November 2015. And I'm going to show you the KDP dashboard, because I went in, I think I was in Kindle Unlimited. Yes, I did. I went in with Kindle Unlimited. Like most of us, no idea what I was doing. For a long time, even, I think when I had a couple of books out and suddenly worked out that I had to do a newsletter, like build my email list. So then I was giving First Blade away for free via BookFunnel, not even realizing I was breaking KDP's terms and conditions. Lucky for me, I didn't get caught. Once I realized I wasn't allowed to do that, I stopped doing it and I gave away something else instead. Excuse me while I just have a sip of coffee. Anyway, we'll talk about lead magnets, newsletter, list building, all of that stuff later in a different video. So let me share my screen with you. So this is the lifetime. I don't have 62 books. That is things like box sets, books that I've unpublished, then re-released. It counts them twice, especially because I had the Jane Hinchy Zara Stone stuff, and I'm going to talk about that in a separate video as well. So just let me hover. This is really interesting. So I published in November 2015 and I made $61. And then as we just scroll on through, 48, oops. Oh, this is February, 38, March, 47, April, 23. May was a big month, $6.80. June we picked up $19. $30 in July, $66 in August, and September 2016, $534. You can see there now there's a breakdown. That's when I released my second book, and that was called Returned. Different standalone, had nothing to do with First Blade, because again, I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't know that I was meant to write a series. So then, as soon as I released that, we dropped off. Down we go. This is still in 2016. Returned was doing quite good for me. It was a sci-fi romance, alien romance. Then I put out First Witch. So this was January 2017. So it's like 2 years later is book 2 in that series. I'm not going to go through all of my books, but you can see we jump up here. March 2017, I made $3,000, which was nice. Then we drop off again, but we've already got, I've got these 3 other little books here. Heart of Darkness, Destiny's Touch. Sorry, 2 other books. They're novellas. We had another spike. And this is where I released First Blood, which was 3rd book in the series. So I made $5,000 this month. So that was my trilogy. And I think from this point is where I started advertising book 1 once I had 3 books out. Of course, obviously it just dropped off. And you can see I've got 6 books out at this point, and I'm still making about $1,600 a month. Couldn't live off that. So what I'm trying to pinpoint here is there are years, months of these low amounts, like it's a few hundred, and you think, oh, that's great, that's all I want, that's fantastic. But this is my author career, it's my business, and we couldn't support a household off of this. So I'm trying to pinpoint when I started advertising Facebook ads with Fiona. Obviously, I've dabbled here and there. More and more books coming on board. The Which Way books are there now. I'm pointing to the screen. So I'd moved into cozies. So starting to get... So this was my first month. So yeah, it must have been probably about here. So April 2020, I would have started with Fiona. And that's when we went from like... I'm pretty sure it was around the start of the year. I reckon it was around here, January. Took a little bit to get it going, and I had no money to spend on ads. So I was really broke. I sold a few things around the house to get some money to pay for the ads. That's how bad it was. And this is where we start. Yep, this is where we start some traction. So April was... Sorry, the cat's in front of the keyboard and he's pushing the mouse, so it's jumping. So April was better. We were slowly getting better. May was good. I'm starting to think, oh, at long last. I think Ghost Mortem might have released. No, Ghost Mortem released in April. Yep. May. And then we see June is my first 5-figure month. And from then it's just been the roller coaster. I won't hover over all of those because it gets boring for you. So my best month ever was almost cracked the 20,000 in December 2020. So I haven't made that much since. That was a great month. I can't remember. I think I had a new release. You have to remember too, just looking at this, I can see Christmas Crackers was there. So, you know, any of the royalties for a box set that I was hosting has to be divided between 10 or 12 authors. So that wasn't all of my income. And where's my highest? Probably this year is October, yeah, 16,000 because I had a new release. So I just wanted to show like all of this time down here struggling away, especially like that was 2 years of earning just a few $100, double figures, maybe triple every now and then. So then let us flick on over and have a look at my expenses for the year. And I just run a profit and loss. So for accounting, I use Xero because I'm actually no good with the bookkeeping side of things. It's not, I can do it. I used to work as a bookkeeper, would you believe? It's just not my jam. I'm not that interested. So this is for the calendar year. It's not for the financial year because I thought I showed you my royalties for the year. Interestingly enough, in this report, I have cracked the 150,000 for the year, or 151, and that probably what pushed me over was these sales just here, which don't fall into any of my other royalties. So I break my royalties down into, as you can see, Amazon and the different countries. Audiobook, I just group it all into one thing. Draft to digital, which is mostly Apple, but all the little ones as well. And again, I'm not going to break it all out into that tiny little bit of detail. Google, Kobo, Nook, paperback. I just do all my paperbacks are through Ingram Spark. I don't do Amazon's print. And so this sales is actually live events. So if I get paid in cash, I don't track it through here. It's just cash. But if I get paid via PayPal and it comes into my bank account, if I use the Square payment thing, live events and stuff like that, it goes into my bank account. So of course I track it. And so that is just the sales here. So at live events, this is how much I've made. So I certainly didn't come away from any book signings in profit. Having said that, I did make 151,000 for the year, which is nice. Then I break it out into the cost of sales. So to me, a cost of a sale is my cover art, audio recordings, editing, and translations. So anything that's actually costing me money to get the product made. So that came to 13.5 grand for the year. Cover art, obviously the most expensive, spent a lot of money on that. Probably because I was recovering the Zara Stone stuff. So there was a lot of expense there. I got the EMDG grant, 36.5 roughly grand just as income. So that's going to skew this because that's going to look like it's like a profit, and it's not, it's just the government grant. So paid promotions here, advertising paid promotions, those are like things like written word media, fussy library and stuff like that. Since being wide, those are one of the most prominent things that I do besides Facebook ads and paid promotions. And there's a video that I've already put up in the group that I recorded a while ago for Beth about how I do that and how I schedule stuff out and work out what to put where and all of that sort of thing. Amazon advertising, that was when I was dibbling and playing around with ads for Amazon. I don't do them anymore. Anthology expenses, that's money in and out. So when I'm running an anthology, that's money coming in that I then use to pay the expenses, and obviously then money going out as well as I join other anthologies, which I haven't done in ages. Bank fees are always high because of the conversions to foreign currencies. Spent a little bit of money on BookBub advertising, haven't done that in ages as well. Conferences and courses are always high, always spending money. The consulting and coaching, so this would be what I spent with the Writing Wives. And contractor is when I had a team, Misty and Fleur. So Misty was in the US and she's my social media manager, and Fleur is my ARC manager. In the last few months, I've actually stopped using them. I didn't sack them. Misty's always started off as a reader, and she still looks after my Little Devils group, but we don't do much in there, so there's nothing really for her to do. So we agreed, like I said, I stopped posting on social media, so I had no need for a social media manager. So it's really sorry, but I'm just not doing that anymore. And Fleur still acts as my ARC manager, but I just pay her when I send an ARC out, which I've stopped planning out my books and stuff. It's just when they're ready, and it's not all that work intensive anymore. So I just pay her as and when we do it. Donations, I actually sponsor a koala, $20 a month through the World Wildlife Fund, and that comes through there. Email marketing is MailerLite costs. That will probably go up significantly as MailerLite are forcing everyone off the old MailerLite onto the new MailerLite. I was grandfathered into the old version at a set rate, so it hasn't cost me much. Here's the interesting one you'll want to look at. I'll zoom in a bit so you can see this better. So Facebook advertising Germany, because I wanted to know how much I'm spending when I'm advertising to Germany. I wanted to separate those costs out. So 7 grand to Germany. I should actually, we'll scroll up in a minute and we'll look at the Germany royalties so we can make sure, see where we're traveling with that. And then Facebook advertising the USA, it's 28,000. So that's how much I've spent. So that's about like 36,000 that I've spent on ads in the year. It's a bit scary, isn't it? But if you remember looking back from the early days, I wasn't spending anything and I was getting $70, a couple of $100, It's really difficult to get that traction going if you're not spending money. What other? I'm just sort of scanning now for big items like signing. This is mostly my signing costs, what it costs me to go and do a book signing. And I think I've got a couple of things wrong in here, as in I've probably put some of my UK travel has gone into this account where I've actually got an international travel down here. So I'm not sure. This is quite high. I could probably look into it, but we won't go into it today. I will look at that personally because that seems high to me. So anyway, what were we doing? Oh yes, let's just go back up to the top. So 7,000 in ads for Germany. Germany royalties 17,000. Well and truly breaking even. Okay, I think that's all I had to share about this. Just wanted to have full transparency. These are my income and expenses just for the calendar year. So it will look different. It shakes out different in Australia for our financial years. But yeah, that's where I've been spending my money on, where I've stopped spending money. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you as always for watching. And again, if you have anything that you actually want to look at, that you want to know more about, let me know. I'm going to do another video today on Scribe Count and just show you like behind the hood how it works if you're interested in using it and going wide. You have to remember all these subscriptions, like software subscriptions, add up. That's something that I could show you actually. I have an expense called software subscriptions for things like that. So like the Photoshop subscription, MailerLite is separate. I've separated that out because I wanted to track my email marketing costs separately. But all the little things that are costing you money to use their websites and whatnot, I call it software subscriptions. So I've spent $4,500 in the year for all of that. So all of that stuff can really add up, and it's something that you should be like keeping an eye on. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you as always for watching.